Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and you've tuned into another live edition of the Locker Gnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short. It's your daily dose of not just the news, but answers that you can use. Today's topic is Twitter. I am on Twitter near 24/7. Even when I'm sleeping, I'm on Twitter. That's kind of how it works. When I can't sleep, I'm on Twitter. It is the way that I remain connected to the world. It's my primary news source, I'll be honest with you. Twitter is too big to fail. Even though it's got a lot of failings, trust me, it's full of holes. One of the more common questions I get asked, even today, especially when I take a screenshot, someone will ask, well, how do you use Twitter? What's your favorite Twitter client? Back in the day, there were a lot of Twitter clients, but I wanted to talk to you about 3 indispensable Twitter tools for me, and the reasons why they are indispensable in general. So some of them may come as a surprise. Others, maybe not so much. You've probably heard of all of them, maybe not. I may be changing your perspective on Twitter in the process. After that, I'm going to be highlighting today's series of Perillo Pics. Very excited about this. No, it's not going to be the tech and travel collectibles. That Perillo Pics keeps getting pushed back because every day I get something awesome in the mail, it seems. So I got something awesome in the mail yesterday. I unboxed it or unbagged it for all the patrons. Some of them are here behind me. You can become a patron and go over to chrisperillo.com to get even more of TLDR. It's usually about an hour long. After this and this being the Twitter thing, that being the Perillo Pics, I'm going to be answering tech questions, talking about today's tech and geek news, and generally do things with the people who support me this way. So my first Twitter client is kind of a given. Even though I will tell you, it's not my favorite. I have to use it. The Twitter for iOS app. I have to, because there are so many features that aren't available in other apps that are available on the Twitter application, specifically for iOS. Now, I could also use twitter.com directly on a mobile device, and I do at times, but really, using the official Twitter client doesn't exactly guarantee you're always going to get the bleeding edge features, but today, as a matter of fact, and the timing is impeccable, we didn't do this intentionally because we kind of stack out the topics that I cover in TLDR a week or so in advance. Twitter rolled out 2 new features. One, searchable GIFs. So if you love GIFs like me, I love animated GIFs, you have my permission to animated GIF and tag me anywhere. I mean, anything I do. I love animated GIFs. Love them. So now Twitter's integrated directly for your tweets as well as for DMs. The second thing that Twitter announced today was being able to send video to others by way of DM. And so, Twitter's constantly rolling out new features. And sometimes the only way to get these new features is specifically using the official app. So I have to still use the official app, and I don't like it. I don't like the official Twitter app. I don't. In fact, that's one of the reasons why my primary mobile Twitter experience is by way of Tweetbot. And I use Tweetbot because I like how it looks, generally speaking, although it's got a few design hiccups. They can't always update to the latest features of Twitter because Twitter doesn't make it available by way of the API. But I just like how I can navigate Twitter more easily with Tweetbot than I can with the official Twitter app. If, for example, I don't get bothered with the Moments tab, which is absolutely beyond worthless. They might as well just call Moments worthless on Twitter. You know what I'm talking about? They have a Moments tab. The only time I ever loaded is on accident. It's useless. You don't get Moments in Tweetbot. You also get something called dark mode in Tweetbot. So, for example, if I launch Tweetbot and show you, I'm in dark mode. See, the background is dark. You use 2 fingers to swipe up to go light mode, 2 fingers down to turn it into dark mode. That's only available in Tweetbot. Just so you know, you can't do that in the official Twitter app. But as I said, Tweetbot doesn't have all the Twitter features that Twitter has. Like, you can't see the official Twitter emoji. You can in the official Twitter apps, but you can't in the unofficial Twitter apps. I still, despite the fact not having access to every feature in Twitter, still prefer Tweetbot. Still, so that's my second one that I must use. I mean, on a regular basis, especially when I'm mobile. I open the Twitter app, the first one I mentioned, only when I have to, only when I need to. Otherwise, it's like, no, there's nothing it offers. And here's the sad thing. This is what's really sad. The Twitter app is based on an app that was acquired. A developer who created one of the first Twitter apps, if not one of the only Twitter apps I ever bought and paid for. It was called Tweety. I want to say that's what it was called back in the day. So Twitter acquired Tweety, and really the developer of the app, and made it the official Twitter app, which was great. They needed something, but then it went from bad to worse. It's not a great client. It's just not good. I'm just going to stick to talking about Twitter right now. It's not great. If the Twitter app is the only thing you use, then you need to learn about Tweetbot. Now, if you're on the desktop, and a lot of us are. This used to have an iOS app, no longer. Twitter acquired another app and made it their own, and it is probably my favorite way of accessing Twitter. Not Tweetbot, not through the official Twitter app, TweetDeck. I've talked about TweetDeck before. I did not like TweetDeck back in the day. I didn't like it at all. It was on the Adobe Air platform, which I like the idea of, but unfortunately Adobe Air, while it was cross-platform and had binaries you could download and manage differently, it really wasn't that friendly in terms of performance. TweetDeck is now pretty much native. There's an OS X client that has not been updated in ages, and a web client. You go to tweetdeck.com and you should be able to load it. You use your Twitter credentials at this stage. So it's an official Twitter product. I use TweetDeck because you have multiple columns, and you can define exactly what you see and where in the Twitter experience. Now, in my opinion, they need to bring back TweetDeck to iOS, to the mobile platforms, as well as, not just the iPhone, but the iPad as well, because TweetDeck is suitable for wide screens. So I've got like a column set up for my activity, a column set up for the people who I follow, their activity. I have a column set up for search. I have a column set up for mentions. I have different columns. And so I'm able to navigate Twitter more easily than just, a single screen, just like a small screen. So those are the three Twitter clients that I find indispensable. If I had to rank them, TweetDeck would be number one, despite the fact that though it is a Twitter product, it does not support all of Twitter's features. Still, it just never seems to get updated. It's a second-class citizen within the Twitter ecosystem, which is really confusing because it's a Twitter product officially, but polls finally got updated in the web version of TweetDeck, but not in the desktop client version of TweetDeck. The animated GIF support, I'm not expecting to see at least the animated GIF button to roll out in TweetDeck for quite some time, though it does support the viewing of animated GIFs. It's just not updated in parity with the other features that Twitter usually rolls out for all of its users, primarily through the web, twitter.com, as well as through the Twitter official Twitter app. Those are my choices. And as I said, Twitter is a very powerful tool when used for what it's good for, and I love it. I love Twitter. Twitter is one of the very few services on the planet that I love that I couldn't live without. I wish Twitter did better at certain things, but I'm certainly sitting here telling you I'm better. My life is better because of Twitter, not despite it. I mean, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. It's. I'm not going to say it's only gotten better over time, but it's steadily improved. They've got a long way to go. Trust me, I could probably do a separate video on the things that I'd like to see Twitter do. Maybe I'll talk about that with the patrons later. I'll talk about that with you guys and gals. Right now, I need to turn around to see the chat room and make sure everything's fine. Oh, it doesn't? I didn't know. Oh, no, Tweetbot is definitely... I knew that. I was thinking TweetDeck for a second. I knew that Tweetbot was not available for Android. That doesn't surprise me because the entire... all of their programs that they've released are apps. We used to call programs, or apps programs back in the day, are only available in iOS. Just so you know. Oh, I got it. Oh, look, it's two Chris's. Today's Perillo Pics is going to require me to use the rotating mirror, but first... I want to make sure everybody sees, as I continue to talk about Twitter, some people who deserve to be mentioned. This is why I kind of feel weird about Twitter. And I wasn't necessarily expecting to go into this today, but I think it's a relevant thing to talk about. I talk about loving it. My life is better with it, but I can tell you that it has pretty much undermined a lot of content publishing efforts. For example, something that annoys the hell out of me is, I see I'm watching the feed as it goes by, people I follow, brands that I follow, and I'll see a tweet with an obvious, clickbait title. Like, what did Han Solo do in the middle of the film? I'm like, if I already know the answer, I'm not going to look. But I'm just thinking, think of all the people who, don't know the answer and they have to look, right? Or they need to look, right? I feel that, it's something that they could do. Why is that title bar up there? I wish it wasn't there. Oh, well. I feel that the publisher is trying to drive attention back to where they drive value, ad revenue, which Twitter's having problems with themselves. But as a Twitter user, that annoys me more than anything. And so I see people who blog, tech stuff, and they embed like a YouTube video. And I'm like, I'll just share the YouTube video directly because it's more convenient for my followers. So I don't generally bury a lot of things within blog posts, apart from, the link roundups that we send out every weekday as the Locker Gnome email newsletter, and every so often other roundups of things that I found. Just because, that's just not the way the world works. Social is pretty much, and when I say social, I'm talking Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, has destroyed blogging. Destroyed. Like, bloggers, they may still exist, but it's a dying breed. It's just another destination that is likely going to be ignored. A lot of the world discovers their news through social. So I basically, most of the news that I have to share is usually shared in social. Why is that title bar there? Shouldn't it not be there? I don't know. I thought it would disappear on the, on Safari, mobile Safari, but it doesn't. I thought it did. I'm full screen. I may need to refresh it. Oh, iOS. Always getting the best of me. Okay, I'm going to move on and talk about today's Perillo Pics and then answer questions from the patrons. Did one get asked back here? Something got asked. Here or somewhere else, I will answer questions. I love answering questions. So, if you want to hear me answer more questions, talk tech, if you need more from me, you can have more from me. Head over to chrisperillo.com and sign up to become a patron. Today's free podcast highlight was brought to you by all of my active patrons from chrisperillo.com. If you want access to the full TLDR episodes, both audio, video, past, present, and future, which can be up to an hour long or longer, with even more tech insight from me every weekday, plus other bonus content without ads, and supporting me at the same time, you can sign up to become one of my supernomies too. This is just a brief taste of what I'm producing for you daily. Again, get more through chrisperillo.com.